So really without any of that cover or placement beforehand, it kind of makes sense why it got so torn apart. But at the same time, I think their current opener is a lot better. Same theme with the Storm Spirit. Guts was the one shining light in their draft in that previous game, but unfortunately, just a little bit too much. I like that they go for it knowing that that silencer, while Moose could have gone for it again, they ban it out in that second phase. They're covering it way more and way better than they did in the first game. And they get the Weaver because they see the bans. They're a little bit more shallow this game. Good response in the Rubik.
Really good
Again, we keep
response.
seeing the Rubik as well as picking up the Rubik versus the Bane. Okay, Lava are just getting exactly what they could possibly want in a draft. So, two base, they definitely have a much smaller hole. I think Widge, another one of those fantastic South American Weaver players who is absolutely able to get those games going. Not to mention, you're also playing it versus Ogre. Ogre's a really strong hero, but I think Weaver's one of the few fours with those bugs that you can actually get some advantageous trades going. The question that they need to answer, though, is what is Valkyrie going to play versus this Luna Ogre Magi lane? Because he is just as an important factor as everyone else here. Do you look for someone like the LC?
I was
I
just
feel like it's
thinking
got to be
that.
the LC.
Yeah, I was just thinking
Otherwise,
Legion Commander here is probably your best bet. It's very good against the Invoker. It's good against the Ogre Magi. You don't really care too much about the Luna in the lane. I mean, there's no Mars, no Tidehunter. Those are like the first ones that come to mind. Magnus Band as well. But we'll see what they decide to do. I mean, you could potentially take the Weaver in the 3 position and pick a 4 that pairs up better with it. But then you've got like this Bane Storm Weaver, and like your 4 is going to be your tanky hero here, which would be kind of strange. So I'm leaning more towards the Legion Commander here.
yeah, if it's not the LC in this exact same position, some teams would go for the Brewmaster, but then you're playing Brew versus Rubik. It's really easy for him to get that second steal. It's really good versus Luna because, of course, you
It
just
is.
send her into the air. In addition to that, you have the Weaver with the Shikuchi to actually get that Cinder Brew. Aside from the LC or the Brew, that's really it, at least as much as conventional thinking will kind of bring us here, because those are the heroes that have been picked at this tournament. Of course, Brood was a little bit out of left field. Only other person to play that was Monkeys Forever, I believe, and unfortunately, he's no longer in that tournament. But I think if they don't get Widge something like that, we don't see the Sand King really picked up in that same vein anymore, and it will just simply be the LC. Perfect.
Yep. It is the best pick here. I think you're right. Like the Brewmaster could have been really strong, but you're kind of double dipping on this urn building because Brewmaster just wants to get this super early urn, play aggressive with the Cinder Brew, and Weaver just kind of wants to do the same thing. So this makes a lot more sense. The press the attack's going to pay dividends here, trying to help keep this Storm Spirit alive. And the dual lockdown for the Invoker and the Luna is always very useful. So we'll see what they decide to do with it. Final phase of bans, likely going to target out the safe lane potential here from Boris. Something like, I mean, maybe. Well, you've already removed the Phantom Lancer, but a lot of cores are still in this game. Terrorblade is up on the availability list here. Very strong into the Luna. The Life Stealer, okay.
Yeah. I feel like it's got to be the Ursa next. And they're still banning. Okay, yeah. They've been out the group. They know. They're very aware of that small list of offlaners in the meta currently, but I feel like Ursa would be the most Boris hero you could possibly ask for in this game. At the same time, you could look for something like the Morphling, which we kept on seeing picked up versus the Luna because you instantly take her out of the engagement. If you get that shotgun early enough, you pop the BKB in, but you're already missing about 1,000 HP. Doesn't play as nicely into the Invoker, of course, because he is naturally going to build up that Spirit Vessel, but I feel like something big has to come out of Boris. Again, the Ursa would have felt nice, but I also think Lava know the Ursa would feel pretty nice for them and win that matchup, so they immediately cover it, and I think that would have been the best fit. So Boris, he might get pushed a little bit here. Could we see him go for the Drow again? I don't feel like you can, but
Drow
at the
TV
same
aren't
time,
bad. It's just going to come down to the
yeah.
offlane pick here. They get rid of the Doom. Pretty good ban.
Hmm.
Help secure the Storm Spirit a little bit, but Simply 2 base with second pick. It is going to be advantageous. I mean, they got Radiant second pick. This is best case scenario. Lava actually opted for the first pick here. They're going to grab themselves a
Yeah.
Centaur.
The end of the very short list of offliners there. I think we've only seen at least I think two or three other teams pick this Centaur. Actually, once that kind of off lane group got really as limited as you could possibly ask for, being the last pick for Lava here. But it will do exactly what Centaur has always done. Not to mention Centaur, Warrunner, Rubik, even though you don't see your lane, it just is a good lane. It's just very strong. It fills that role of defending your tower, is something that if Simply Two Based wanted to pick a very split pushy hero, can't really do that because Centaur just stands in front, and that's where Two Based getting onto these buildings,
They're just gonna be
they will just
drow.
go for the drow again.
Man,
Yeah. Well,
I like see it in lane. It's very strong, but going into the late game, Frank having Stampede is gonna make this drow's life miserable. So a lot of this is gonna come down to again guts on this Storm Spirit making plays, but you got to deal with Leo Styles Invoker once again. This is just not going to be an easy game for Simply Two Based.
no, and at the very least, you do have Valkyrie who's able to reactively TP to Boris's lane, get him with that press the attack, try to save his drow when those dives do inevitably come. And you do have that button. You've got Duel, you've got Fiend Script, you've got tools inherently placed in your heroes. But we need another game. We need Guts to get that fast Orchid at that blistering speed that we saw him do in game one. Widge is probably going to have more of a presence in that mid lane as well, just going to be able to make that rotation just a little bit easier. And at the same time, I think Valkyrie also just needs to get ahead in his lane versus Kataro. Kataro has gotten counterpicked with this Drow Ranger. Hitting buildings is now going to be quite the magnitude harder for that lava lineup, but if we have that same performance specifically coming in from both Boris and Leo style, where Leo is constantly finding the Drow, forcing two based around the map where they honestly can't get, then we could see quite the repeat of game one. Not to mention that with the Centaur, you have someone else to break through the towers. You've got one person to break the towers and one to break the racks in that Luna. So we'll have to see how aggressive the Centaur comes, because right now I think you got a little bit of a damage problem on the two base side. You don't really have too much burst.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And that is a terrible looking mount for that Luna, but I digress. As a fan of hats, you know, I try to, I gotta analyze them a little bit. We get the smoke up right away from lava. Again, I mean, these guys every single time seem to do this as they just run right down the mid lane, try and get these wards placed. But Imperium, he's beating them to it.
Yep, big benefit of Bane. You're just a fast boy. And with the two sentries, I think wanting to just make sure that Guts has a nice lane. But MJZ, I feel like we've always seen him do this. He just immediately runs at the enemy team's small camp, regardless of whether or not he plans to block it. I definitely think he does plan to do so in this lane, but that's also where you are playing versus a Weaver. You have to make that choice. Do you prefer the lane ward? Do you prefer the small camp unblocked
You
or
just
the
gotta
large
get the
camp
body
blocked?
blocks.
Oh,
Nice fire
Empyrean.
blast. The question is, can
Ooh.
they actually finish him off? The brain sap is their overwhelming odds even, and MJZ's gonna live on just a sliver of HP.
Ooh. Well, I mean, you get to walk all the way back to base at the very least, and oh, Empyrean, he thought that already placed that sentry, so
Yeah.
we'll just defend it, but at the same time, think very possibly MJZ could have been looking just over at that top lane, because of course, you do have to make that choice. If you get that lane sentry down and you maintain sentry control, I think Widge just placed his sentry of his own. They were really certain that a ward got placed here, but well, that's a pretty big whiff because now Widge doesn't have any way to get rid of the sentries placed top lane. Almost wish Empyrean passed the sentry on over to the Weaver because once you establish control, it's so hard to get it back from this lane. Luna Ogre is just incredibly obnoxious for any hero to deal with.
Yeah. I mean, he was right. There is a ward in mid, but it is on the other side of the river, so not going to help him at all. All right, let's take a look at bottom. It's going to be Boris again on this Drow. We'll have Bane here, a much stronger hero in the lane.
Yeah, no brood. You know, you can't complain. Yeah, especially after how that first game happened, and we'll just nuke it. Yeah, no way you're gonna get that range creep against that Rubik, but at the same time, it is just going to be Frank getting right click constantly until the point where you get that ring of health, and then suddenly there isn't very much kill potential. I think more so with this double ranged lane on the two base side, try to beat into that Rubik as much as you can, and then you might get lucky with an opportunity, especially because once you hit level 2 on that Bane, you get another, like, what, 5 free right clicks once that Nightmare gets cast. So
Yeah.
I think that's where their timing is really going to lie, especially with the multi-shot. But until then, there really isn't a target for anyone in bot.
Doing a good job of just putting the damage out, but like you said, even better, they get the level 2 first, and now that might just be first blood. A couple more auto attacks, and needs to go the way of Frank, and it does. And just playing that timing perfectly as they get that telekinesis into that hoof stomp. Mid lane, Guts actually
Oh,
solo kills Leo style.
ooh, that's some fancy footwork from Guts. Got the pull at level 3. He's not farming. He's a killer. And I also see MJZ and unfortunately Widge going down here, but still, that is huge for the Storm Spirit in the mid lane. He had his bottle already delivered, so that wasn't even going to be a factor. But at the same time, he is the one that is going to make or break this game in very similar fashion to Game 1. And we get to see him on the Storm Spirit again. It's pretty funny, but we'll have to see if he is able to snowball that much harder, get his Orchid maybe a few minutes earlier, and then make those moves.
Boots being delivered there for the Rubik. Gonna make his life a lot easier in the lane. Meanwhile, top MJZ is just running for this Legion Commander. I mean, they've brought their 4 bottom. Hiding in the trees,
really
Widge. They don't know quite yet. He's got the bugs, but I don't think you have the damage to go for the Centaur. You've got to get the Rubik, right?
Yeah, I mean, they would need to start with Frank just running at that range creep.
The Nightmare comes out. Widge looking to get on the backside. They will go ahead and break that Nightmare, and that's plenty of damage coming through.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you are kind of ditching Valkyrie right now to try and secure Boris's lane, but it's that more active role that I think we really need to see from many of the members of TOOBASED. They were just a little bit too stuck in their own lanes. We didn't see any of that activity coming out, and even then, you get Widge going over and stealing the bounty rune, and I think placing these heroes out on the map just a little bit sooner is going to greatly help them.
Yeah, really well done. And Guts in mid lane gets his boots delivered, so it's a little bit easier for him to rotate to his bounty rune here after he grabs this wave. I guess he's just kind of hoping it's not gone yet. MJZ has probably just been running at Valkyrie the whole time, so I'm sure they've communicated that should still be there. Unless he's going to give the bottle over? No, okay, he's just giving him some regen.
Yeah, and at the very least, with that solo kill from Guts, you don't have that same rotation where Lava bring both of their supports to the mid lane and you catch the Storm Spirit before he hits level 6. Instead, Guts doesn't have to worry about that play coming out, and I don't think Lava are even going to be looking for that play, so he has a much safer early game. He's not going to be prosecuted nearly as much, and that just means he's going to get his items, and once he gets that Orchid, he has... Okay, gonna say he had the treads queued up, but I like this. Just get the rush going as soon as you can. Don't mess with Knowles. It's a lot less mana to work with, especially because those Oblivion Staffs are just that much more expensive and don't give you that raw output, but at the same time, you're gonna need it to kill these heroes.
Boris in trouble bottom, getting cut off here by Frank. He's gonna get salved up in the trees and run north. A really sick juke from him, actually, but end up losing Valkyrie top. Kataro securing that kill.
Yeah, and I mean, you did leave him. You left him completely alone, so this is almost expected at this point. In addition to that, Valkyrie, he went for the 1-1-1 build on his hero. He, of course, wants to contest for a lot of those range creeps, but it's kind of a too many cook situation where I think the Weaver could have covered you. I think he ends up eating a few too much damage from that Fire Blast, and then just kind of get taken down, and now it's nighttime. So making plays on a Kataro is incredibly difficult, and with this stacked camp, you're also just losing everything on this LC, but he's not the focus. Everything is about the Storm Spirit in this game, and it's much more apparent this time around.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a similar trend as last game. Like, he did get the first blood in the mid lane, or not the first blood, but the solo kill in the mid lane. Storm Spirit coming top, looking to find the kill here onto Kataro, getting him incredibly low. There's going to be the Vortex, and more auto attacks will be enough to finish him off. Well played by Guts. What I was going to say, though, is he did get that solo kill in the mid lane, and he is CSing incredibly well. That's the same thing, but he still can't contest the Invoker mid anymore, right? Like, Invoker is just such an annoying hero for him to deal with without another hero there to help find the kill.
Yeah, and that is the mentality that I think Guts has in a lot of his Storm games as well. As long as he can TP to these outer towers and make something happen, he's got somewhere to play. Unfortunately, he's gonna have an Ogre
Fire
in his
Blast
face
comes
here,
through within a night.
Oh, wait.
Guts is in a
Tornado?
lot of trouble. He has a little bit of mana to work with, but he's going to get clipped by the Tornado and gets taken down by Leo style. He's going to know there's a ward there now.
Oh, well, it is unfortunate, but that's going to happen to you every once in a while. But that's also just how Guts likes to play his Storm. He TPs to this outer tower every single time he has the availability. Unfortunately, Valkyrie is still locked out of this top lane. You would have loved whenever Guts rotated top for him to have that duel to get the win onto the Luna, but at the same time, I can only imagine Guitar is extremely happy with his laning setup whenever the Storm isn't here.
Yeah, I mean, you're only level 4. You're almost level 5 here on the Legion, but you are far away from that level 6. Frank bottom lane did rush the Vanguard, so he's very much having a good time here. Not too worried about this Drow Ranger. She's not getting that marksmanship anytime soon. They're TPing down here. Oh, no, they're not. Okay, that was just a ping. Storm thinking about TPing down here, but doesn't look like it's going to happen. Top lane, they have their eyes set on this Legion, but they don't have the CC, I think, to kill him right now.
No, definitely not. And I guess that's the one benefit. The Luna is getting to that stage where Kataro does just want to break away towards those large camps, push the wave in, farm up a Storm, but at the same time, Valkyrie still needs a partner. He needs someone to get this game started for him. He doesn't have boots. He went for the chainmail to kind of alleviate that right-click pressure coming out onto him, but that's where you also look at Widge and seeing that he's taken over this mid lane ever since Guts decided that he wants to get on the aggressive. Gonna take some damage here.
Speaking of Widge, I mean, not some damage. Wait. He might be dead. No, pops the stick, able to keep himself alive. Raindrops also helping quite a bit. But I mean, so that is a lot of damage. He has another urn available. If he gets that auto attack, it's a pretty good top lane. Valkyrie gets caught by an ignite, but did have that press the attack plus the tower. Looks like it will be enough to keep him alive. And there it is. Widge. Cold snap plus the urn. Pops that stick one more time, but it's not going to keep him alive. They get the kill. Leo style catches some bugs. There's going to be a tornado. EMP to burn out Empyrean's mana. Oh my god, it is so frustrating to play against. Well, in comes Guts. Finds the Rubik. Can he actually be saved, though? He gets the cold snap. Guts chasing for more. Does get on top of the Rubik, and he will find the kill. Beautiful use of that ball lightning, but the Stampede from the Invoker. Dude, he is doing so much work here on this Storm Spirit. Tornado in out? 3. It looks like he's out.
Wow, that's insane. Gets the bottle refill from Widge as well, so he's just going to go back to farming. Okay.
Well, tornado, EMP, cold snap there. They find the Bane as he was trying to get eyes on this top rune. Well played there by Frank. He actually TP'd to the tower in mid lane just to go to the other side of the river and grab that rune. That was really smart.
It's sick stuff, and I think as soon as Frank really wants to make his presence known on this map, he is not going to die for a real long time. He is just unkillable. I think the best way you get him is maybe with a few more items up onto Boris, and at the very least, with Frank rotating out, Boris did get a nice few waves to himself, but at the same time, I feel like once Lava want to bring their core towards that bottom lane, there's no way Boris can hold that tower. He's just going to have that threat of getting caught up in the tornado, and you see them already making moves here with MJZ coming towards the mid lane to take over that XP, and
they're smoking bottom. They really want their the Drow Ranger. They want to put Boris into the same situation as they did in this last game. He's gonna get the TP out though. Oh, what a sick play! Just so good. That was so close to being a huge disaster. But now he's top, getting ready to try and push this tower. Kataro is here. They're gonna TP up the Invoker, so they want to just really punish Boris here. They know they're stronger on this Luna. Trying to bait it out though is Rubik rotating in on from the backside. They don't have the telekinesis, but oh, he pops the cold snap just after that press the attack, and Valkyrie's gonna go down. Not much you can do. Looking for more of those. They get the tornado there onto the Bane. Empyrean gonna go down as well. Which he's underneath the sentry. Ignite's gonna catch him. He's got to be careful. Leo style thinking of diving for more. If he gets this cold snap urn, doesn't get the cold snap. Widge playing on the edge there.
Yeah. Oh, well, they know there's a ward up there.
Yeah,
now.
they know the ward on the high ground now.
Yeah, MJZ, are you denying it? I feel like that's what's going to happen next here, but you can make that TP on Leo style. At first, you know, you think for a second that, oh, the Invoker's going to leave bottom, that bot tower isn't going to die, but that's not how Centaur works. Frank just gets to take it by himself. He's going to work incredibly quickly towards that Blink Dagger, and he's only, what, 400 gold away? Then you're going to see that Centaur War Runner collapse on mid. He really does just slot into that offlane role. I'm surprised we're not seeing more Centaur War Runner, because he really plays that same way that the Tide does. It's a slightly smaller stun, but that same value.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit afraid, though, because we're waiting now for that Orchid timing, and Guts is smoked up with Empyrean, who's level 6, but they need to hit here. They would love to kill Kataro on this ward. This
They
would
got
be the
vision,
perfect
yeah.
play.
I mean, this is a DD coming in from Guts. Imperium, I mean, if he doesn't want to have to use the Fiend's Grip, but he's going to come in. The Orchid comes out, and the little taunt comes through. Does he die to the Ancient Creeps? He does not. Guts will be able to find it. Top wave, a rotation coming in from Lava, but the duel comes in onto the Ogre. Tornado will buy him a little bit of time, and it does end up preventing the bonus damage, but Widge on the backside, he's... Whoa, that Sunstrike way off the mark.
Ooh, but good kills across the board. They didn't have to use the Fiend's Grip either, so Empyrean still wanted to be active. He got a Keen Optic as well, so just super value on that Bane. And that's where Lava, they can't afford to give up too many of these kills, but their timing is still going to come back to Frank in his play on the mid lane here, and how they deal with that. Guts cannot afford to get hit by this Tornado. Okay, perfect from him, but they're still going to come running at you with this Blink, and if he stays a little bit too long, can definitely picture the Storm Spirit dying. Oh, nice play on the Moose, though.
It is indeed, yeah. Grabs that kill. Guts out of mana now, though. And they do have the Stampede if they want to get active, but Centaur has already started turning around bottom, so... They're finding some recovery kills here on the side of Simply TOOBASED. 7 to 8. Not too bad. Still a slight gold advantage. Oh, top, where are they? Oh, they get the Fiend's Grip onto Kataro. Boris, does he have the damage to finish this off? The Brain Sap will be there, I think. The Stampede, not in time. He makes it Leo style, wants to find a return kill. Cold Snap, EMP dropped right on top of the Bane, and Imperium, he's got 10 stick charges. Trying to bait this one out. Boris on the other side of the tree here as well. A great fight once again for TOOBASED. They get some big kills, closing this net worth gap. They actually smoke up right away on Lava. I think the ward might have clipped it.
Oh, Valkyrie doesn't see it.
Blink Stomp comes through. Legion Commander still has that duel available, but you are all alone. Nice Nightmare in from Imperium, but the Tornado comes through from Leo style. There's gonna be the silence from Guts. Valkyrie does go down, but Guts, you're 1v3. You gotta be careful. You're falling incredibly low, but he gets the kill. A well-played gank here from the Storm. Frank finally catches him with that stomp, and he will go down to Widge. Barely surviving on the root because he's able to get that bug off him at the last second. And, Nightmare. Kind of backfiring.
A little bit scary here, but MBZ will walk out. But still, that's huge. You were able to get Boris out before any of that fight actually happens. It's unfortunate that you do end up losing the Storm, but... You're farming up a Storm a little bit on this Boris hero. Drow is getting a few of her items that she was looking at 20 minutes into that previous game. So I'm definitely feeling the Boris Drow a little bit more here. If they can keep on setting up fights around him as well, he's going to gladly throw a multi-shot at these heroes if it means kills for his allies. At the same time, you got Grippin 19, they've got their button, and if they get a kill a little bit too close towards this mid tower, they've already placed the vision on the cliff here, so they could very easily collapse and get some good mid damage here. Where I think Kataro is the exact opposite. He is not going to want to show up to a lot of these fights for quite a while. Maybe after the Mantis style, so he doesn't have to worry about the Orchid nearly as much. We might see him show up, but at that same time, I don't think you can put nearly as much pressure on these tier 2 towers to actually cause TOOBASED to react to you.
You can see the change in playstyle here from, Leo on this Invoker. He's gone for the Midas instead of the Spirit Vessel. They weren't going as aggressive as they were. They get the Tornado. There's going to be the Stomp to follow. They take down the Weaver just to support, though, so it's not the most important kill. The important thing is this mid tower. They're going to go ahead and pop that fortification. And TOOBASED is off on the side here, ready to go. Guts would love to find a kill, but it is going to be very scary. Jumping into 4, and Frank ends up ganking the backside, finding Legion Commander as they just burst him down, going the way of this Luna. Some big gold going the way of this hero as they've got their Dragon Lance. They have that Yasha complete on the way to that Manta style. Boris, though, is not that far behind. I mean, he's got a... Did he... Oh, he did not see the Rubik there. That was close.
Yeah, they got to be careful. Widge almost gets caught on another sentry in the mid lane. Unfortunately, you are going to lose that ward pretty quick here. Oh, wait a second.
They come in on Guts.
Nice.
Fiend's Grip there as well. All a bait.
Super clean.
And Widge has that vessel, man. This is... We saw what Z-Freak did earlier on this. It was just ridiculous.
Oh. No way. They're actually gonna
Boris?
track down Boris.
Yeah, he's in trouble. He just needs to get in range for the cold snap. Nice gust comes through from the drow. He's out. Perfectly placed there.
That's super sick from him. And looking at Boris's build, he's just immediately getting a BKB. That's a little bit crazy, but at the same time, once he gets it, I think you can actually see him showing up to engagements that the Centaur decides to go to. But Guts,
He
this
goes
is a
in.
1v2.
It
Oh
is
no.
Rubik able to make it out with the Sakuchi and that Stampede, and he just goes down.
Oh my goodness. That's so unfortunate.
It's such a greedy play, man. Thinking you can make that against the Invoker.
Yeah, Imperium was on his way as well. He didn't have grip, but he was going to get something over to you. But unfortunately, that's where only one hero can take over this mid wave. Even though the tower's gone, it's still one of the best places for those two-based heroes to farm. And Valkyrie's getting his time in the sun, but unfortunately, it's plays like that that kind of just allow your opponents to refocus and put pressure back out on the map. And they're pinging out Widge a little bit in this bottom lane, but I think he's a little bit too obnoxious for you to kill unless you find either the Tornado or the Blink Hoof Stomp. But they're trying to set up.
Yeah. They are indeed. We're just doing a really good job on this Weaver, just slowing this game down. He's on his way to what looks like a Hood of Defiance, so just wants to tank up a little bit and try and not get bursted from this Centaur, you know, Rubik Invoker. Like, there's just so much magic burst if he gets stunned. And he's going to get found by Leo style. He doesn't actually have any way of catching him. They do see him with the dust, but lose vision of him for just a moment. It looks like Widge is going to be safe once again. They just need to escort this wave is the thing. They can't afford to just keep letting him get these cuts off.
No, but space created. You're getting out onto the map. You're seeing the rest of the map getting filled up by the two-based heroes, and this is so much more space than they had to work with in the previous game. Of course, Boris has that BKB now, and whether or not he's actually able to utilize it, we'll see. But no Guts.
What a setup. Yeah. Tornado into Hoof Stomp. That's going to be a rough one every single time. Imperium gets the Nightmare off, but Leo Style is here to go. There's going to be the duel, though. Can they actually bring down the Invoker in time? It looks like they will. Now the Fiend's Grip onto the Rubik. The Stomp comes through, but that's the BKB from Boris that you were talking about. Widge rotating in with that Vestal. Triple kill for the Drow Ranger. And MJZ now on the run. He's got to be careful. They've got 6 Vessel charges to work with. The rest of these heroes rotating in. It's going to be a pretty easy pickoff going their way.
Oh my goodness. That is so nice after game 1, and it was a sick pick on the Guts, right? You had that far reach, you had the Centaur TPing in from the tier 1 and then stampeding over, but unfortunately, when you don't have that stampede and the Drow Ranger is able to save his BKB as long as Boris did, you saw Frank blink in, sees the BKB, can't do anything. Guitaro, you don't have yours, you manted already.
He got caught. Guts is here, gonna take a lot of damage from the Soulburn, drops the Eclipse, but it's not there. Just goes over to Boris, another big kill bounty. And suddenly he's about to catch the Luna in net worth here 20 minutes into the game when you would expect the Luna to try and be taking over.
Yeah, it really comes back to not only the triple kill, but them deciding to go for this play on the low ground in the mid lane. You're playing instantly into what is Boris's ball field. It feels like now you are going to need to be so scared playing going forward, because that is the counter. Drow is fantastic versus Luna, and if you get a little bit too far ahead, of course, you've got the Mantis style, but Boris is looking over at the Shadow Blade. Once you get that break, then suddenly, how do you play the game if you're the Luna? You have to run each other, you have to rely on a lot of that damage coming from Eclipse, but Duel?
Duel does come out in the mid lane. They onto the Centaur. Pretty dang tanky. He gets the Stampede off. There's the EMP as well. Guts trying to walk away here out of mana. Valkyrie can pop that, press the attack. They managed to survive. Yes, you get the Centaur out, but a surprising escape there. Well, Widge didn't really want to let him escape, and he's actually going to find a courier as well.
Well, at the very least, if you're Lava, you still have these plays that you can make, especially if you drag two-base away from each other. Two-base need to be holding hands out onto the map, something that their lineup is completely okay with, just because they don't have too many hard farmers, just naturally. Everybody is very not selfish. They're very selfless with their gold when it comes to these things, but at the same time, I feel like there's almost a ticking time bomb in this Invoker. He's going immediately for that Aghanim Scepter, but more importantly, we haven't seen a fight where we have that Exhort, rather the Alacrity Luna just beating into you. He's going for the Scotty, and that is where this Drow matchup becomes 50-50. It's where you bring it back on the Luna, and if you ever get to start on her, it's always becoming a kiting battle. The Shadow Blade is going to help him a whole hell of a lot on Boris, but I think we do need to see some formulated pushes coming in from TOOBASED, otherwise Lava are just going to be able to, again, pick up the edges and then find those pickoffs. And Guts has also gone a little bit quiet with the ability to make these plays. A huge part of his playstyle is playing around these outer towers and just TPing from Fountain to find kills. And losing this mid tower so early has really hampered what he's been able to put on the map.
Yeah, some of this game is surprising to me because I look at TOOBASED lineup and I feel like they're going to pull away with this as it goes later and later. But Lava, I mean, they opted to go for the Invoker, so he at least still stays relevant. They're going to smoke up. It's a 4v4 here. I know that's not the real Luna. Yeah, Imperion's going to pop there. He's going to get the one. Telekinesis in. They catch the Valkyrie on the backside. No, he gets the save off, but into a duel. Can they finish off the Luna in time? The damage is just not there. But Boris, baby, double kill going on. And trying to secure the triple here onto Frank. It's going to go the way of Valkyrie, but again, it's Widge on this Weaver just constantly making hell for these supports as that Spirit Vessel nearly finishing off, and there it is. Just another one right in time.
And look, they're queuing at the Roach, but again, it feels like Lava are too far away. They have to stampede in, and they cannot afford to do so. So many times they're starting off these fights, they get that stampede immediately committed, and it's not even that TOOBASED are forcing it, it's that Lava are committing it themselves. Frank is just using it a little bit too fast, and they don't have to disengage. And now, Guts is an Aegis.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you have a serious Drow Ranger problem here. I mean, in a lot of games, you would be able to just gap close and run at this hero, especially with someone like the Centaur on your team, but this Drow is just too farmed right now. Boris's positioning has been fantastic, and you've got this Storm Spirit and this Weaver just running in and trying to soak these spells. Valkyrie link up in one, but MJZ has gone too far, and that damage from the Drow Ranger. He ends up getting his first duel victory finally here 23 minutes in. And this matchup only gets better for the Drow as this game goes on. Like, this Luna will never stand a chance.
No.
If Boris is allowed to continue farming.
The only way that Kitaro, again, can close it up, he's gone for the Hurricane Pike, he's going to go for the Scotty next. That is how you win. That's how you get your small opening there where, fortunately, you don't build up the Scotty every single game on the Boris, but that's where you wonder. Boris's next item is huge. He's gotten all the prerequisites. He's going to have everything he needs. His defensive items are off the board. So now, once you build damage items on this Drow, everyone just gets shredded.
It's the Silver Edge. It's done. He's got the damage. We're going to find Frank here. Vortex plus the silence. The duel comes through, and it's falling apart here for Lava. One kill after another. As the Aghanim Scepter coming out from Widge in just a little bit as well. But it's really Boris on this Drow. Look at the damage. Invoker forced to BKB, losing half his HP pool right away. Dust comes through. He gets saved there thanks to Valkyrie. But, I mean, such a minimal commitment from Boris, and Leo Style just removed from the game. He doesn't have a BKB for 60 seconds now.
And now look at your mid tower. Of course, this is a very well-timed push, and they can definitely glyph it because Lava are totally going to split the map here. They need that Scotty on the Luna before you can actually feel confident enough to take this fight. But at the same time, Boris has almost never needed to use this BKB. It's all coming from Valkyrie in that Aghanim Shards press the attack, and you give your sight on these heroes for a second, and now we're finally seeing Valkyrie have that confidence to just jump. And as this game spirals out of control, Guts has gone for the non-greedy Storm Spirit build, so once he has a few more items and going for the Ags immediately, he's going for those huge plays, you are going to be able to be everywhere. You're going to cut your opponents off from the map, and then that Storm is actually broken. When you can just be everywhere. Again,
they're stampeding in. They're just going to go for the Bane right away, and Leo Style, he said he doesn't have the BKB. He's got to be careful. Guts goes in, finds Rubik on the backside, pops his zone. A big stomp. They're able to take down one, but can they actually find more? Legion Commander falling low. Guts looking for the Centaur, but this man's so dang tanky. They get the duel. Boris just dumping in the damage. He's got it, and it's Widge again chasing for more on the backside. Finds this Ogre Magi, the Vessel, constantly in their face. It is such a rough game now for Lava. You got this Aegis on Guts still.
They're just lucky they didn't lose the Invoker there. The BKB had just come back up, and it was a really good Heaven's Halberd coming in from Frank, but at the same time, you can't imagine that Kitaro is happy right now. Kitaro just has to farm. His option, and the only good option he has, is to keep looking for these items going on in the game. And look at that zip. He just went back from the base. He TP'd the well, and he's still looking for kills. I mean, it's just ridiculous what Guts is doing on this hero. Of course, Aegis is going to expire in a minute here, but as long as they keep stampeding in, it is just so hard for them to get out. They are pretty much solely committed once they find these engagements. And Boris, he's looking at the Scotty.
He's going to find Leo style here potentially. The duel comes in. They got him. The crit comes through right away, and Widge will help finish him up. And now looking for the Rubik into the trees. They just a couple auto attacks beyond godlike. Level 20 on this Drow Ranger. He picks up that multi-shot damage. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to Drow Luna, the way I look at it, as soon as the Drow catches the Luna in net worth, the matchup's over. Because Luna's always supposed to be ahead of you because of how that hero works. But if that Drow ever catches you, you just have no game. And Boris, at some points, eclipsing him here. I don't know how you can actually defend. I don't know how you can stop this Drow. Boris is just so damn strong.
And not just that, you look at Boris's inventory and then you look over at Kitaro's. He is faster on the Scotty than the Luna is right now. And unfortunately, that is your one moment where if you're constantly going forward, you find her, you slow her up with the Scotty if you're that Luna, then maybe you kill Drow. But unfortunately, Boris is right on pace and even
Guts
faster.
goes in, he grabs the Ogre.
Items.
Another duel.
Oh no. Well,
and not to mention, look what just got delivered on the Weaver. So they don't know about this quite yet, but a brand new Aghanim Scepter for Widge just makes going on this Drow that much more difficult. Like maybe you get that Blink Stomp initiation, but Widge will just reset it completely.
And at the same time, Kitaro, he isn't even going for, I think, the items that he needs to close up this matchup. You might see the Shard, the Daedalus, things that allow you to avoid the fight straight up, items you'd go for or reverse as a hero like the Medusa, but it just feels like the plays are so few and far between, and they're constantly hunting. They're so terrified after that Weaver gets pressed the attack. They were going to set up on Widge, and then they see that. Do they still want it, though?
Blink Stomp. They got him. That burst damage is there. They know the Weaver is the safe target, right? But he was all alone, so they will be able to find that kill pretty dang easily and without buyback. But Valkyrie, he wants to go in for the duel. He's got it right onto the Invoker, and Guts silences up that Rubik. They get the kill. There's going to be the Feeds Grip onto the Centaur. They can't cancel it quite yet. Finally, Kitaro will, but Boris, he's already done the work. Nice halberd there from Frank. Kitaro trying to run away, and it looks like he will be able to. But Boris, he's come in way too far. Kitaro finally going to surround him. The Nightmare not going to do it as Leo Style returns to the fight with the buyback on top of Imperia and Tornado to finish him off there. They're looking for more Guts. He's low. He's got no HP. Kitaro gets him. Looking for Valkyrie as well. No. Simply TOOBASED. They're the ones on the back foot all of a sudden. Valkyrie on the run. But this Scotty, this was the timing you were talking about. That's the window you have on this Luna. And boy, did they find it.
Oh, no. At the very least, Roche is not alive. If Roche was up, this would be a complete role reversal. But at the same time, Boris just stood out a little bit too far. That was a horrific way for Lava to start that fight as well. They immediately stampede on top of the duel. The Invoker dies pretty much instantly. He's not going anywhere. And then the game looks so impossible for a few seconds there. But that buyback from Leo Style was everything. He actually got himself back into the game. They got the fight. Boris used that BKB so early, and if he's not more careful with his BKB usage, that's where Kitaro, who hasn't itemized for that BKB, he is not bound. He is just a stronger base hero, and if you don't use that advantage that you have right now, you could very likely see Lava mounting the comeback. They have the Alacrity carry, and now Kitaro with the DD rune. If Roche spawns in 14 seconds here, there's going to need to be a very quick and decisive fight from TOOBASED.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, the reason the Drow is so good into the Luna is you have to give yourself distance. You can't let the Luna get on top of you, and Boris just extending a little bit too far out. They're going to go ahead and smoke up run onto, well, looks like Guts trying to scout the Roshan. I don't think he popped anyone's smoke, so Lava pretty lucky there. And TOOBASED, they know something's up. They don't see anyone inside of Lava, and we're gonna see a quick pause here from Centaur. Frank, probably just some lag or something.
Ooh.
Storm disconnects actually. Oh.
You know, they lag felt across the board very possibly, but at the same time, I'm glad that Widge retreated from the base. Isn't it crazy that they go for that fight with Widge being dead with like a 25-second CD as well? It felt like they were definitely pushing the issue a little bit too much there. They didn't even have Aegis. Aegis was what, maybe 3 minutes expired by that point? I just don't think TOOBASED needed to force it, but they have to be so careful. They got lucky with the Roche respawn. I wouldn't throw it away here. They could very likely go for another smoke. Valkyrie has a BKB, so he can actually finish off that target he starts, but can only imagine that Boris is going to try and delay this until he has that Scotty in his own hands, and then the name of the kite is still the name of the game for Lava. If they can get everyone on top of that Drow Ranger, then there's nothing Boris can do.
He's actually getting the shard here for the Weaver. He's going to buy that one out, not worry about buyback. And it is pretty useful. Getting that true sight from those bugs is really, really, really strong, especially against a Rubik who tries to steal Sakuchi from you every single time. And, of course, the ghost walking of the Invoker. Guts comes in. He's got his eyes set on the Rubik, and that's a big kill. Pops the BKB, and he will find it. Stampede through onto Widge. He's able to keep himself alive thanks to the press attack, but they get the duel. That's not gonna work. Kotaro just stands his ground. Fiend's Grip gonna get canceled as well. Boris, he's got Frank standing on top of him. Gonna get away thanks to that Silver Edge, but Widge in some trouble. He's got 21 charges. Despite all of this, it looked like it was gonna be a terrible fight for TOOBASED. They managed to get out, only really losing the Legion and then getting 2 buybacks. The Roshan up in 35.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that duel from Valkyrie. He thought he had a little bit more damage, I think, from his teammates there to try and get the burst. At the same time, perfect tornado from Leo style, breaking up that grip pretty much immediately onto Kotaro. For a second there, you thought that Boris would just be able to beat into him, but that's the second time where Boris has to commit his BKB as soon as that Stampede comes out. And you want to kite it out. You want to get items like the Hurricane Pike. You want to get forced away. You don't want to use your BKB in the beginning of these engagements because then you get torn apart by the Rego from Frank. I really don't think they can afford plays like that. And originally, that looked pretty bad from Lava because Widge just immediately got pressed the attack. He got saved. I think now, though, not having BKB on Boris for just another 4 seconds here, they might just give up the Roach.
That is
and
it.
This is a huge opportunity.
It's so fast. It is so fast with the Alacrity Bloodlust, and Aegis and Shard gonna go the way of Lava. Now, the question is who takes the Shard? I think it really matters right now. Not top of their mind as they will be able to take down the Ogre Magi. That one is a dieback. Both supports already committed theirs before. They're gonna get the Rubik as well, potentially, but they found Boris on the Drow Ranger, saved by Widge. He pops the BKB, trying to run away. Does he survive? They've got the vision, the sentry up on the high ground without the buyback. The Drow Ranger in so much trouble.
Oh no. And without that, Kotaro, is there any way they duel him here? They can't. He's got
There's
Satanic,
no
he has
chance.
the Aegis. And you have to start cutting waves now if you're Guts. I don't think you can look for picks like this, even onto heroes like Leo style. If you do, then they suddenly just start to break your base. At the very least, they do have the glyph, but oh no. This game might just be broken wide open. They're going to get glyphed here on this wave.
Yeah, Kotaro.
Oh,
Widge? Yeah, he's got to be careful there. He does still have his time lapse, but as soon as Kotaro gets this tower, it is looking really rough. Because then that just opens up the base. Like you said, they will fortify for the time being, and Luna, one of the best high ground siegers in the game. As soon as these glaives start bouncing, it is so difficult to contest this hero. You might as well just give it up.
Yeah. And they will be patient here. I think seeing Valkyrie going and splitting off for that top wave, they're trying to be obnoxious. Oh, that's so sick from Leo. Okay, no greed from Valkyrie, but trying to disable the blink on the Legion commander there with the Sunstrike before he TPs in. That's he's just crazy. He's just a madman.
He's smart. That's just super. Like, you don't think about those types of things unless you're Leo style, I'm sure.
At the same time, though, you're getting cut off from your creep waves. You want to get this split push going, and Widge might make his way all the way towards that bottom lane, but as soon as they catch these waves, you don't have glyph. You are on the super tight cooldown now, and unfortunately, I don't know how they're going to be able to deal with this. I think maybe scout out this ward the two base have placed in their own ancient camp, but unless you have guts constantly killing and cutting those creep waves, creep pressure is here. Kataro is about to go up to the high ground, and no one is really set up here. We're walking over onto Boris, and he's looking for the hypothermia. Once he gets that shard, it's really obnoxious then for everyone aside from the Luna, but
The
oh, no, no, no,
telekinesis,
no.
what a grab onto the Legion. They know the BKB is not there, but he gets the Presti attack off just in time. Ogre barely survives. Kataro, you've come in really far, and that range is not something you want to play with against Boris. Storm Spirit goes in, gets the Vortex, disarm. Signs we get a disconnect. He crashed. 2 players. Oh,
Almost.
no.
Oh, no. Almost matters more for the Storm there. He's got BKB. It's not like he's not going to be able to get it off here, but
Imperium with the
that
nice
is
save,
so
dude. He got
awful.
nightmared. He knew what happened.
Okay, he's back.
The question is, can you bring down the Luna? He's got a Satanic available. Obviously, this Aegis still for 2 more minutes. BKBs are spent on nearly everybody. You still have one on Leo style. I guess Valkyrie's coming off cooldown. Boris committed really early in that fight.
I can't imagine Valkyrie looks for the Blink duel, though. Even once he has that BKB, he needs to find, like, Leo style or moves. Otherwise, everyone else is not going to die, and they're probably going to kill him in tow. But, okay, here's the fight.
It's going to break out. Storm Spirit's out, and he will walk away on Kentaro. They don't want to risk it. The Glimmer Cape is enough.
But Butterfly
Yeah,
are so strong now.
You do have marksmanship, which does ignore it, but only 40% of the time there, so we'll see what he can do. Kentaro onto the high ground. Okay, able to... Yeah, stolen press the attack, he does. Oh no, Rubik. That is a very big pickup. And Luna now taking down this barracks with ease. Of course, this Bloodlust and Alacrity just doing so much work. Yeah, this stolen Presti attack from Rubik is actually game-changing. They did not expect this to come through, and it is so much more difficult to get on top of this Luna now. Bugs come through. He's looking for the backside. Guts able to get the Vortex there onto the Invoker. Widge forced to time-lapse. Kataro taking a lot of damage, but there it is. The Presti attack, he just goes forward into the base. The Hypothermia doing a lot of work slowing down this Luna, but he pops Satanic, able to keep himself alive. Jaw Ranger put to sleep. Fiend's Grip comes through, but it's instantly reflected thanks to the Lotus Orb, and it's all Kentaro here, baby. Double kill, buybacks from everybody. But you're about to get the Mega Creeps. Can they finish off this Luna? It's just so difficult. They get the Vortex. Finally, the multi-shot. Is it enough? Kataro pops the Manta, ends up jumping forward, pops Satanic, put to sleep there by Imperium, but Kataro, he can't go down and wins. That's going to be the dieback. Boris with the Gust. It's just Rubik, man. You can't kill the Luna.
Oh no, and they're not going to GG out here, but I still feel like the game might just be decided in a few seconds here.
He's just focusing down the barracks. There's just way too much damage as Boris forced a BKB. Guts finally gets an Ogre, but that's just gonna be the Aegis that gets popped, and you're thrown in shambles, as I'm sure Kataro just gonna turn his attention on over to this in a moment. Valkyrie tries to run forward, but he ends up getting the shard delivered just to rub salt in the wounds as that pressed the attack, man. That was a game-winning pickup.
And now, I think TOOBASED, how do you feel? They, what, 7-8 minutes ago, they were the ones taking the racks in the top lane, feeling like there was no way in hell that Katara was ever going to TP back to defend his base, and then everything just goes oh so wrong. I mean, look at win probability 30 minutes into this game. This was their game. There was nothing they could do on the lava side. They had so many botched initiations where they used Frank's Stampede way too early. They aren't able to get what they want. Valkyrie was on the road to recovery. Guts had an Aegis. Everything was looking up. And then it all comes back to Katara with the split push in the bottom lane, bringing the entire team down there. They fight whenever Widge is already dead. They fight around the outpost, which Lava had already claimed, already placed vision around. They try to get onto Katara, who had just finished his Scotty, and then they throw away the game pretty much right there. That is the big team fight where everything turned around. They lost control of pretty much everything after that. They were so scared to fight into Lava without an Aegis going forward that they are so scared they don't even contest the next Aegis. and then they just kind of lose control out of everything. That's such a sad game for Two Base to lose.
Yeah, I mean, they played so dang well. I mean, shout out to Boris going 13-2-10. I mean, playing a phenomenal game on the Drow Ranger, but I mean, you're right. You lose that one fight. You let Kataro get on top of the Drow in the second fight. They just have Sentry Vision, so he cannot get out of there. Didn't have that Hurricane Pike for safety, and there's really no saves on the side of Two Base. Boris positioning is everything for him this game. It almost feels like a Blink Dagger was necessary, and he just couldn't keep up with the Luna after those two botched fights. It's a phenomenal game from Lava, pulling this one back in despite, it looking so grim for them, and great performance all around from both teams. This was a fun series to watch. This is the end of tonight, but also the end of the group stage, solidifying Lava as the #1 seed now going into playoffs, and Simply Two Based will take 8th, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see how that comes out, who picks who, and as far as who's going to be playing in those elimination games and who's going to be playing those upper bracket best of threes. Should be a lot of fun. But that's going to do it for us here tonight. ET, any final words before we give everyone a good night off, I guess, and an extra day since we have the break day tomorrow, right?
Well, we do got the break day tomorrow, but if Lava choose Thunder Predator, it's time to tune in. That's going to be it's almost a psycho play from them, but if we get to see that in a best of 3 format, that's the game that I'm looking for.
Dude, it would be so sick. I would love to see it. So we'll see what happens. There's so many good teams and so many good games that have been played so far, but we got the playoffs to look forward to. See who's going to be crowned the champions of Pro Series 9. But that's it for tonight. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We very much appreciate it. Again, my name is rkryptic. I'm here with ET. We will see you all very soon for more here on Beyond the Summit. Have a wonderful night.